Hello everyone, welcome along to your Monday evening Rangers Rabble Women's Show. My name's Brian and I have got Alan and Car with me. Alan, nice to see you again. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Brian. How are you doing yourself?
Yes, not too bad, not too bad. Car, how are you?
It's good. Nice to be back on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a good weekend. A good weekend. A win for Rangers and another team losing. So the gap is, as we say in the title, the gap is closed. So yeah, we're doing really well. So we're here to speak about Spartans versus Rangers, where Rangers won 3-0. Alan, it's not a place that teams have found easy to go to. So I was maybe thinking we'd sort of give Spartans a few, but it's not. It's just not that easy, is it?
No, it never is an easy game at Ainsley Park. Spartans are always really well drilled, well organised, and we hope maybe we'd score more. They've lost a couple of key players last summer, but they were absolutely excellent. They threw their bodies in the line. They had a really good shape. They stayed deep. They didn't give as much space out wide or in behind, and they really made us work for the 3 points. So I think when Celtic went there, they only won 1-0 there. So it's a very difficult place even for the top teams to go, despite the fact that Spartans are quite low down in the league.
Yeah, definitely. It's sometimes a league position doesn't really give a true reflection card, does it? Because as Alan's saying, Spartans are always a stuffy side, but they find themselves well down the table.
Yeah, I mean, they're good defensively. They're just not very good at going forward, I don't think. So I think that's been their main problem, that they're not scoring a lot of goals, but they seem to be fairly good in some games at keeping teams at bay, but not winning games. Although Hibs beat them recently, I think it was 6-0, but that was at Hibs ground, so it's a bit different. But they are one of those teams that just kind of stay in that area. They never, really face much of a relegation issue. They're always just kind of in that bottom six, struggle a little bit, but stay up. So I'd imagine that'll be the same this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, of course, Rangers won 3-0. We'll just run through the team. Essen was in goal. Hold on, if I just find the results. I've lost it. Oh, I had it there for a second. It's disappeared. Technology for you. Technology for you.
I'll go through a team for you then, Brian.
Go on then.
If you've lost it, we started with Vic in goals with a back three of Cathy Hill, Laura Rafferty and Leah Eddy. Chelsea was in the midfield with Liv. Mia McCauley was playing behind the front two with Brogan and Lizzie on the wings, and it was Katie and Rio up front. So only one change from last week was Laura Rafferty coming in with Nick Dock on the bench.
Yeah, is that just a case of using the squad, Alan?
Probably. I think that was a slight surprise, maybe seeing Nick rested, but I think the biggest surprise we were maybe looking for a sighted new goalkeeper. I noticed you decided not to mention her, probably avoiding trying to say her name. So we'll all obviously have a wee bit of practice at saying Thelma Ever's daughter's name. So it's good to see that we've actually signed a new goalkeeper, but.
Absolutely, and I think I butchered her name last week, so apologies to her for that. But we are joined now by Wolf, who is somewhere other than Aberdeen. Wolf, how are we?
I just thought I would jump on very quickly. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm hiding in a toilet in Aston Villa's training ground. I've come down to Birmingham with my missus. She's picking the new car up tomorrow, and the only game I could find was Villa 21s and Fulham 21s at their training ground. I was hoping it would be at Villa Park, but unfortunately it's at Bodymore Heath, so I've eventually managed to find that the reception in the car park's garbage. That's why I've had to come into the stadium, and there's nobody at the moment in the toilet, so I just thought I would jump in and have a wee chat with you about the game yesterday. I noticed you were talking there about the new goalkeeper.
Yes.
International goalkeeper, so I think she should be quite good. I don't know. I didn't catch what you said. Your thoughts were on whether it means one or both of the keepers are away. I would imagine probably Vic will go, but I'll leave. I don't know if he's addressed that or not, but
not yet. We were just basically going through the team, and was it an expected sort of lineup? Obviously, with Nick Dock dropping to the bench and Rafferty coming in. So was it using the squad of?
Nick Dock not starting was a surprise for me. Sorry, that started a wee bit for me there. Nick Dock not starting was a bit of a surprise for me, but nice to see that she got on under pretty poor circumstances. To be fair, I hope Raf's okay. That was a right throw when she got. But yeah, I mean, Nick Dock 150th competitive match. I mean, that's an achievement, is it not?
Absolutely, Car. I mean, she's been ever present for us since she joined, hasn't she? She's been there, for a good number of years now, and 150 appearances is a great achievement.
Took her long enough. No, I'm kidding. It's a massive achievement. She's one of the best to play for us. I said that on our podcast. She really is, and she leads the team. She loves the club. She's really everything that Rangers stand for. So to get 150, and I'm sure she'll, if she could, and hopefully she can, get another 150 to go with it, a few more titles and trophies to go along with it, and she'll be all right.
Absolutely. And Alan, I suppose the game started as you would think, Rangers having a lot of the ball, having a lot of chances, but just struggling to break them down.
Yeah, and what was frustrating the fans at the game was the fact that we kept constantly trying to go through the middle. Brogan and Lizzie had lots of space out wide, but we weren't actually looking to find him with the ball. And that was frustrating because we weren't getting anywhere going through the middle. It was a real struggle to get Mia involved too much. Spartans sitting deep, so there was no chance to use Mia's pace to try and get in behind and get beyond Katie and Rio. But I thought Rio probably looked the most likely to make something happen. And with a ton of corners, we certainly had plenty of the territory, but we're really struggling to make anything count.
Yeah, Wolf, it's as I said in the opening, Spartans isn't sort of in the same sort of league as sort of the Celtics, the Glasgow Cities, and Rangers. So, you're kind of going there expecting to score a good few, but it never is the case, is it?
Is this where I say technically they are in the same league because it was a league game? But yeah, I know what you mean. I probably expecting to score a few, to be honest. But I was quite like you. I was at Tannery, so I obviously couldn't attend the game at Spartans. But yeah, I was quite surprised it was 0-0 at half time, particularly when I knew they were down to 10. I didn't realise the red card was right on half time though. But they're always going to make it stuffy. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the thing. We've said it consistently about the league now. It's not the early part of the season. If you get the newly promoted clubs or the lower clubs, it's double figures. Well, that's not happening anymore, really, because they know what they're up against. They know how to sort of set up against us. It was a surprise that the final score was the way it was, and it was goalless at half time. But yeah, they're always going to be stuffy to break down.
Absolutely. And Carr, we've got to obviously speak about the sending off because that was quite pivotal in the game. A ball played through by the Spartans sort of defence, and the attacker ran onto it. Laura Whittemore ahead, the attacker Whittemore feet, and I'm afraid there's not many winners in that sort of tackle, is there?
There's not. The ball should have been dealt with before it got to that point, but Laura Rafferty's not scared to stick her head where it hurts, as she's done twice now this season. So I think she assumed that Lassie would pull out, and I don't think the Lassie assumed that Laura was going to put her head in that space, but it kicked her right in the head. Medical staff immediately on. Lassie gets a red card. Their fans are saying it's not a red card. Of course it's a red card. If we did that to one of theirs, I'd be saying that's a red card because you can't do that. You can't kick somebody in the head. So hopefully Raf's okay. Seen on Instagram, I think it was, that Loco took her to A&E and she was getting some stuff done to her lips. So hopefully it's just that and it's nothing head-wise, that it's just kind of mouth area, and she'll be back in, I'm sure, doing what she does if she gets some more game time.
Absolutely. And of course, Alan, right before half-time, Leah Eddy unleashes the shot, and even after the shot, I was amazed the shot didn't go in. And then the follow-up shots, I was amazed that didn't go in. Just that first half was so frustrating.
Yeah, and that's it. It was really frustrating. We were certainly knocking on the door. I don't think our quality was there. And even in Joe's post-match interview, she mentioned that she wasn't happy and too many players weren't at the levels they should be. But we certainly knocked at the door enough, and I think we all thought Leah Eddy's shot might have come down off the bar and actually went over the line, but the assistant referee was quite close to the corner flag, so it wasn't a good position to see it. So better position than us, certainly. And it was just worrying. Obviously, we had to reshuffle the defence after Laura Rafferty went off, but that came probably at a good time because it was just getting into half time and they could actually get properly organised.
Absolutely. Of course, as you say, Wolf, it was 0-0 half time after the sending off, and then straight, after the first half, the second half started. Spartans had a speculative shot from just inside our half and nearly caught the goalie napping.
Yeah, it was a hell of a hit. To be fair, it was a hell of a save as well. I mean, Laura mentioned it in the group chat that there was no mention of it in the match report, and obviously we hadn't seen it. Luckily, it was in the highlights. I mean, it was a hell of a hit from the last, and it wasn't just a hit out of nothing. She actually, she aimed it at the goal. It wasn't just, I'm going to hit this and see where it ends up, because it was going in. She didn't just put her laces through it. She actually kind of tried to place it just under the bar, and it's a hell of a save from Vic, to be fair.
Absolutely. I mean, Carr, when that's in the air, you're looking at it, and your heart's in your mouth, isn't it? Because you're just seeing it, and there's nothing you can do. And goalies going backwards toward a goal, I'm never very sort of confident in them saving it, because it's a difficult thing.
Well, especially our goalkeepers, we've got a history of them going backwards and struggling, but this time Vic pulled it out of the bag. I think she said after the game that she thought it was going to be quite comfortable, that it wasn't going to get where it went, and then she realised last minute that she had to, pull it out to make a fingertip save to keep us 0-0. But what a save it was! Tremendous for her to be paying attention. She very easily could have switched off and, kept her eye on the ball, but she pulled it out of the bag, and now she's got competition, so maybe that's what's doing it, keeping her on her toes.
Competition's good. Of course, Alan, but finally got the opening goal. Chelsea down the right-hand side, crossed it in, and Katie at the front post doing what Katie does.
Yeah, it was a really well-worked goal. I don't remember who played the ball into the channel, but, Chelsea chased it down. Could easily went out, but she had no option but to play that first time. She's drilled it across. Perfect height for Katie Wilkinson just to get in front of the keeper and head into the net. So exactly what we needed, getting the front foot, getting across in early, and Katie's attacked that, and they expect Katie Wilkinson to score through there.
Absolutely. And Wolf, the second coming not long after, another good finish.
Well, as Alan says, Katie Wilkinson does what Katie Wilkinson does. I mean, it was a, tremendous finish. I mean, she gets, the game's really stuffy. If you need somebody to get you out of the mire, so to speak, and score your goals, she's exactly the person you want on there. And I mean, it wasn't the greatest finish you'll ever have, but I mean, to end up behind the goalkeeper, that's all you really need.
Absolutely. I mean, Carr, it's that's, I can't remember what goal she's on now, 26 or something, is it?
I don't know what it is.
I mean, it's some return of goals for somebody that's this is their first season in the league. I mean, it's a massive return, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, especially when you think about it, she's not been scoring as consistently as we thought she would. The way she started the season with hat-trick after hat-trick and constantly scoring a bar a load of goals. But she's been consistent when she's been in a team when she needed to be, and she's kept going, which is great. And maybe she will live up to her number and score 44 at the end of the season after all. Yeah,
because remember earlier in the season, Alan, we were sort of hedging our bets on how far or how many she would get. So the people that said 40 something will be pretty confident now, won't they?
Yeah, definitely. And listen, the games are going to get harder from this point, and we've not got too many games left before the split, and the 10 after the split are going to be extremely difficult. Already mentioned, how much Hibs have improved, and we've not got a particularly good record against the top five this season, but it's 26 or 27 goals in the league alone Katie Wilkinson's got now. It depends where you give her the hat-trick from the Queen's Park game, but she's got to score goals, and Rio's scoring goals regularly as well. And then you've got Kirsty Howitt and Jen Ross coming off the bench.
Absolutely, Wolf, and that brings us nicely on to the third goal Jane Ross scored. Across from I believe it was Lizzie Arnott. I think Mia had a shot, didn't quite work, and then Jane Ross managed to get it in the net.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see. I mean, we're talking about Wilco's goals. I'd love to see Lizzie's assist numbers, because I mean, I think she assisted 2 yesterday, and she's involved in the other one. And I mean, she's just incredible amount of assists that she does. I mean, from memory, I think did it come off the bar and it landed at Jane's feet. I think that's the right goal I'm thinking about. And then like Walco, Jane Ross is a goal scorer. You know what I mean? It's phenomenal when you can take off Katie Wilkinson with her goals and bring on Jane Ross, who also likes to score goals. I mean, that's just the strength that we've got in the squad.
Yeah, it's something else. It's something else now, Car. We'll come to this. Paul is asking, of course, this was obviously not spoken about in the last game because we didn't know. Did Joe get the red card turned over? And your answer is?
No.
So Graham was up in the cafe getting his commission yesterday because he's sending everyone up to the cafe saying they've got great hot chocolate up there. And he apparently was talking to Donald, who said that they appealed it. Of course they did, and it didn't get overturned because apparently that's the new rule. If the manager holds on to the ball at the sideline, it's seen as delaying the game or whatever, it's an immediate red card, which we weren't aware of. They didn't post that anywhere. It's not like that came out as a new rule change or whatever, but apparently that's the rule and they stuck to it. But that's bizarre to me. I don't understand what that's about. But no, it didn't get overturned. But I guess because they appealed it, she was able to be in the dugout yesterday. So I don't know how many games it is or anything like that. What game she'll miss.
I mean, Alan, that is a bizarre rule. Is that? I mean, holding a manager holding on to the ball for too long. I mean, I've never heard of that.
No, I've never heard it, and even as some of the baffling rules that come out, that one takes the biscuit. It's at worst the referee should be coming over and saying, "Listen, stop it," having a word and be done with it. Maybe book her if she continues to do it, but to rush over and get a red card out so excitedly was and still is absolutely ridiculous. A referee couldn't have got that red card out quick enough, and for that, considering what you see managers get away with, absolutely mental. And somebody needs to look at that rule if that's the case.
Yeah, well, I mean, she didn't even hold on to the ball for very long. She swung it around herself and then dropped the ball. I mean, it was a very bizarre situation.
Well, I mean, I was under the impression that what I heard yesterday was the rule was that the manager can't hold on to the ball at all. So if the manager can't pick up the ball at all, then that's the rule. Then it's a daft rule, but that's the rule. But if it's can't hold on to it for a length of time, how long's a length of time? How long's too long?
Well, exactly, Car. I mean, it's totally up to the discretion of the official, then, isn't it? It's you're at the mercy of how long they feel is long enough.
Well, maybe it is that they're just not allowed to hold on to the ball, but surely that wastes more time by having to wait for the ball people at the side of the pitch to go and throw us another ball when it was our throw-in. She's not wasting any time holding on to the ball. She's just stopping the Celtic player getting it who was going to waste time. So surely there's a bit of discretion there that the ref can say, I get what you're doing. Listen, that is the rule. I'll give you a yellow card, but obviously that is the new rule. But the way she just came over immediately, and Jo seemed baffled, but you'd assume that she would know that's the rule. So Jo being baffled by it makes it weird. I don't know. It's just a bizarre rule if that is the case. But I hope it's consistent because Elena Sudoku or whatever, I can't say her last name. She holds on to the ball a lot. She done it to Nick, she done it to Kathy, keeping the ball away from them. So I hope they do it consistently throughout the league. And if some other manager does it, then they get a red card too.
Absolutely fair point. Absolutely. Paul, another one. Question, guys. Do you think Camille has settled in nicely and she gets the club willing to scrap and battle? I've been quite impressed with her, Alan.
I think she's getting better the more we see her play. She's very slightly built, and really quiet and polite anytime you speak to her, but she's really keen on sort of getting involved and, mucking in. She's strong on the ball. She actually holds off players more than a lot better than you'd expect, and she doesn't mind putting the tackles in. Certainly the booking she got was probably well deserved yesterday. She absolutely smashed the ground, but that was a couple of yellow cards. Do seem to maybe be getting a wee bit more physical in the team. And that might be a good thing. Sometimes we can be a wee bit too nice, but there was certainly a wee bit more edge to some of our challenges yesterday. But I do think Camille's definitely settling in. It'll be interesting to see if we extend her contract because we only gave her a 1-year deal when we brought her in.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel she's not? I wouldn't say plugging a hole. That's the wrong word. But do you feel she fills a role in the team car that that we need?
Yeah, I mean, especially at the moment with Kirsty McLean being out, she does kind of remind me a bit of her, but with a bit more, I guess, of Megan Bell's tenacity, with the sense that she's not scared to go into a tackle. She's, got the frills of Kirsty McLean, but, the ability to tackle and run with the ball, which is great. You've got quite a well-rounded player. I would love to keep her. I don't know if we will. She doesn't like the weather very much here. She's not a fan of the rain and the coldness that we've got here, unfortunately. So I don't know if maybe she got an offer back in America or overseas somewhere sunny. She might choose that, but she's certainly doing a job for us when she is getting the game time. She doesn't seem to be annoyed about the fact that she's not playing all of the time. I think she understands that, but when she comes on, she makes no mistake of getting stuck in and doing what she needs. And when she came on yesterday, she offered us a lot of energy that we seemed to be lacking a bit, and then we started going wide a bit more, which was great to see. I don't know if it was purely because she came on or just that's the way that they were told to play, but she's a fantastic wee player and I'd love to keep her.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, the league table obviously changed, Alan, yesterday. Well, not changed, but sort of points-wise changed. Glasgow City succumbing to Hibs in the capital. Was that? We obviously spoke before, and it wasn't a huge surprise for you.
No, I think a lot of people expected Hibs to give Glasgow City a game, but that was the sort of game that was on a knife edge. It could have went either way, but Hibs dominated that game. Hibs scored 2 early goals. Should have been 3 up. I don't think the offside call for what would have been a third goal was the right one. It looked to be onside, but they didn't sort of capitulate when Glasgow City pulled one back. They went up the park and scored again. So I think not only does it make the league tighter, it brings Glasgow City closer to us, which is good. But it's a reminder that the cup final we've got coming up in March is not going to be a case of turning up and expect us just to win. We're going to have to go there and earn it.
Absolutely. Carr, it's just a nice reminder in the sense that when your rivals do slip up against, Hibs, who have obviously improved the same as Hearts, that these games can't be taken lightly now.
They can, and the post-split is going to be very interesting with the likes of, obviously, I'm assuming it's going to be Partick or maybe Motherwell that get in that 6th spot, but outside of that, none of those games are going to be easy and literally could change the league game to game constantly, which is going to make it very interesting. So a bit of a nervy one going into the end of the season, but hopefully we just show up a bit better than we have recently before the winter break and we'll be all right. But I think the girls know that there is no easy game now. This is it. You've got to go and win every game. There's no margin of error, so to speak, so they have to get on with it. But it also means that Hibs and Hearts and the likes could take points off of Glasgow City as they did yesterday or off of Celtic. So it could help us potentially, but then we also have to do the job when it comes to us.
Very much so. So the current state of the league table is Glasgow City are top after 19 games with 47 points. Rangers second on 45 points. 10 goals better off. Rangers scores plus 78. Hibs in third with 45, same as us. Celtic in fourth, 18 games, 44 played. So if they win their game in hand tomorrow against Queen's Park, like we all think, they will go top tied with Glasgow City. And then Hearts are down in fifth on 44 points. As you said, Motherwell are on 26, although Partick have got a game in hand on 21 points. So it's tight between those two, very much so. But I'm not going to try and do this again, Alan. I think I made, as I say, I butchered it last week, so I'll let you do it. The new goalkeeper. How do you see this goalkeeping dynamic at Rangers evolving now? Obviously, with this, we've got the Icelandic international goalkeeper in, so things are going to change quite drastically now, aren't they?
I would think you're going to see her just get involved and maybe take a wee bit to be allowed to bed in and settle in. Vic's been excellent in the last couple of games, so possibly she'll keep the gloves for a wee bit longer. But even though she wasn't in the matchday squad, a new keeper was involved in all the pre-match sort of drills and the training and the warm-up, and she was in the first one out and involved. She had a wee bit more time than Jen and Vic, who came out a wee bit later. So the fans that were in early got a wee bit of a glimpse of what she's like. And good to see a keeper with a bit of physical presence. She's taller than Jen and Vic. You can see that sort of right away. So hopefully that stands us in good stead, and we found a number one, because we've talked long about constantly swapping the keepers, and that doesn't help the defence. So I'm very much hoping that Thelma's going to come in and be the number one and play week in, week out.
Yeah, I mean, Cars, obviously, I'm going to ask you, obviously, because you've seen the goalies quite close over the years. How does she stack up in sort of physically compared to the goalies that we have already?
You can't take too much from the training they were doing. Obviously, it's practice drills, but she was doing the same things they were doing, looked quite good with the ball at her feet, which is always, something that you want to see, a goalkeeper that can do that. As Alan said, she's taller than Jenna, and I wouldn't say much taller. I thought she was taller than she is, but maybe just being next to Brogan and Mia and Camille made her look a lot taller, and even Donald, so to speak, she was kind of on par with him. But she looks exciting. I've not been able to find any footage of her in action, which is a bit annoying. I went and had a look, but there's not a whole lot of footage of the Icelandic national team or the team that she was at prior. But the fact that we've got her on a 2.5-year deal makes me think that this 6 months is just to bed her in, get her used to the league, give her that chance, and then hopefully next season, as Alan said, she is the number one, that we start kind of fresh. If we're keeping Jenna, if that's the case, she will be number two and I guess a cup keeper. I mean, we just assume that's what's going to happen, that Vic will want to go back home. She had a bit of unfinished business staying this season, wanting to, obviously go and win the league and finish what we started last season. We assume that's the case. I'd assume that Jenna would get another year deal or whatever, and she would be the backup just in case we need it. But hopefully that is the case, because I don't see why they would bring in another keeper just to make her third choice now and then second choice next season.
Yeah. I mean, is that, Alan, as far as you're concerned, is that the sort of transfer business for Rangers finished, as in outgoings and incomings?
I'd be surprised if we do too much more. I think some places the squad's still maybe a wee bit big, and we might see one or two going out. But I don't think it'll be a particularly busy week for us. I'm sure all the loan players have had sort of reviews and decisions will be made in the last week where they'll know they stay at their clubs are on loan or come back or go elsewhere. But I'm not expecting much in the way of business getting done.
Yeah, I mean, Carl, if you're looking at this squad now, you are looking at the rest of the season quite happy with what the managers assembled.
Oh yeah, I think we've got a really strong squad. I'm pretty happy with it. There is maybe too many, so to speak, especially in the midfield. We have a lot, but then when you look at how easily we can pick up knocks and have issues, then we need a few of those players. But obviously the bench is quite loaded at the moment with players that aren't really getting any game time. I mean, when was the last time we saw Tess play? But she's not really played a game recently, so it's just one of those ones. I don't think she's that bothered, but the likes of Megan Bell, and then obviously the young team, so to speak, with Maycroft coming back onto the bench yesterday, which was good to see because she's not been on the bench the last few games. So I guess it'll just come to fruition, whatever it is. But I think Joe's set up pretty a standard, strong team that we'll do all right with. Now we've got a new goalkeeper, and I think that's pretty much everything done. As Alan says, potentially a couple of loans, but I don't even know if that will happen now. You think that'd already be sorted by now?
Absolutely. Of course, Alan, there was Lily Boyce went to Queen's Park the other day, so it's good to see Lily getting games and much needed 90 minutes week in, week out.
Yeah, the very little we saw of her sort of from sort of training pre-match and the sort of time she spent on the pitch, she hasn't looked out of place amongst her first team, so real important that she gets game time in the sort of league and in the first team. Queen's Park are quite light in numbers, so you'd expect her to get quite a lot of game time. In that same game, saw Becca Taylor make her comeback. She'd been out for about 11 months with a knee injury, so really good to see some of our best young players playing football and learning and continuing to develop.
Absolutely. And one final question, Carl, before we finish up. Any more updates on an assistant manager?
Well, I don't know what you think I would know. I don't have any ties to the club to get that information. We did bring in another sports scientist lastly that I assumed was the new assistant, because there was a photo of, I think it was Liv, and she's doing her drills or whatever, and there's a lassie standing beside Joe, and I'm zooming in and sending it to Laura and trying to do her usual thing, and we couldn't figure out who she was, and then turns out she's just another coach or sports scientist or physio or something, whoever she is. So we thought that was her, but I guess not. But I guess it's closed, so it closed a couple of weeks ago, I believe. So hopefully they've managed to find somebody, and they're just maybe waiting. Maybe they're under contract just now, and they're waiting till the end of January to sort it out. I don't know, but it'll probably end up being Craig. Hadji will step up and do it.
Possibly. But there we go, folks. That is us. We've got the main Rangers Rabble podcast at 7:30, followed by the members show, the EPL show at 9 o'clock. So join us for that. We will be back obviously next Monday with obviously the Scottish Cup game against Montrose. Alan, how do you see that going?
I think it'll be a comfortable win. Montrose are struggling lately. They've had some changes in the squad, over the last few weeks. So lost 4-0 yesterday against Motherwell. Obviously, with Laura Berry scoring for Motherwell. So, no surprise there. But we're at home. We're back familiar. Well, I say familiar tough. We've barely played at Broadwood for 2 months. But it'll be good to sort of get back there. Everybody will need to remember that game's not on the season tickets, so we'll have to actually get their tickets sorted for it. But I'd expect us to have a comfortable win. I think it's a great opportunity to blood the new keeper. So, I'd like to see her play, but I'd like to see us keep a bit of consistency. I don't want to see us change too many in the team. I don't want to see us changing shape. I want to see us just getting into a real sort of rhythm, because this has got to be a real tough 4 months in the season, and we need to be bang at it.
Absolutely. And your very own Graham is asking, do you think we'll play a game at Ibrox before the end of the season? And would you want it a big game there?
No, I don't want it to be a big game because we don't have good history of those games. But I was even going to say a Hibs game, but at the moment that is a big game for us. I don't know. There's the Aberdeen game, maybe a Partick game if it works with the scheduling. I would like us to play there again before the end of the season. I just hope it's not the last game of the season like we tried to do a couple of seasons ago. But it would be nice to see if obviously an international break for the men's team or whatever, we've got a chance to play a game there. Hopefully, I'm sure Donald is working on that all the time, and Joe will be working on it too, because they both seem to be really at that, wanting that to become a main fixture of us playing at Ibrox. So hopefully that is the case. But if it's going to be a big game, make it Hearts or something, and not one that's going to really put everyone off if we don't perform, because that seems to be the problem, that people go to these games, we don't win or we struggle, and then people are like, oh, I'm not going back, it's rubbish.
I know. That's always the danger. Of course, the League Cup final tickets are out. I think, again, I forgot to bring this up, but they've changed the fixture, Alan. Nobody's seen that coming, did they?
No, I think everybody's blindly assumed it would be at Tynecastle, but I believe that Tynecastle wasn't even in the running for it. I believe they looked at different stadiums and were waiting to see first who got to the final and then what was going to work best. I think if you look at where the recent international games have been held, they were probably looking at places like Easter Road and Firhill. The last couple of places Scotland have played. But probably, you'd imagine you'd probably looked at St Mirren as well. I think that the likes of Falkirk would have been perfect for it, but they don't seem to want the finals played on artificial parks. So I think it's been down to stadiums with sort of grass parks, and the point of playing at Ibrox again, I would quite like to see us play at Ibrox on grass before we play the cup final. I think sometimes we struggle switching to grass, so it'd be nice to get a game in there on grass before the cup final.
Yeah, absolutely. As Tessa's saying, tickets are now on sale, so get them. It's in the, I believe, it's at the WSWPL website.
Yeah, it's also on the Motherwell website. The SWPO website just links you to the Motherwell website. So yeah. I made an account for it because that seemed to make it go a bit quicker rather than having to input your information. And hopefully there's a way for me to delete that account once I no longer need it. Because I'm already getting Hearts and Hibs emails from playing at Tynecastle and going there. So hopefully I can delete that so I don't need to do all those emails.
Absolutely. So as I said, folks, 7:30, the main pod at 7:30 tonight, and then the EPL members show is at 9 o'clock. Alan, thank you for joining us.
No, thanks for hosting, Brian.
Always a pleasure. Car, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Absolutely, folks. And as I say, we'll see you next Monday with the reaction to the Scottish Cup game against Montrose. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.